Howdy there, Project Pros. Today I just wanted to share a little bit of a personal story about stakeholder management. Now, I think most of us could agree that the art of communications with our stakeholders could be defined as getting the right information to the right people in the right way at the right time. So in our organizations, we of course, like many of you, promote this sense of communication transparency, which means we openly share things about performance and some of the elements that make up the metrics that we measure for the good of our stakeholders so they understand what's going on. Now, one of these metrics, or qualifiers if you will, actually exists in the concept of stakeholder analysis. And if you look at the PMI documentation, it talks about the concept of stakeholder power and stakeholder influence. And such is my horror story from when I was very, very young in my career. I went into a steering committee meeting where the vice president, actually the COO of the entire organization, was present, and I shared my stakeholder matrix with them. And it did great things like explain where and how that stakeholder would receive updates, when we would have one-on-ones so I could continue to get their input and have bi-directional feedback. But one of the things that I put in there was power. And in this particular small IT project, I had denoted that the COO had very little power because it was an IT update that had to do with IT security, an area in which the COO had very little involvement or need to be involved. He was simply informed. Well, you might imagine that when he saw that his power was low, that I got quite the education, and I was dosed quite a bit of humility about how he was very important and very powerful and had been a long-time contributor and leader to that successful organization. So where I'm going with this is the balance between communication transparency and the necessity to measure, organize, and determine when we as project managers need to share information. And I want to close the loop on this conversation with, it is about the right people getting information in the right way at the right time. But was this information that our CIO really needed to see because it caused an altercation versus just keeping him happy, informed, and engaged at the right level? Let me know if you run into similar war stories. I always love to talk shop. Drop us a line. In the meantime, keep communicating.